Hello there. Today I'm standing out in one of my favorite parts of my yard, which is a little bit of a nature background here. We have trees, we have plants, we have logs and sticks and a little bit of rough stuff here. I'm going to use this spot here to make a fairy garden, and I think you'll enjoy seeing all the different pieces that I'm going to put together to make it a nice, inviting place for fairies to come and play. I'm going to use this area. It's starting to grow some green here with spring popping up. So we're going to clean up a little bit of this area and add some of our little fairy accessories. I'm envisioning, like in the corner of this tree trunk here, a nice little spot for a door or a little house or some little things that we find along the way. Look at the bottom of this tree trunk. There's a lot of opportunity here on this tree. I wonder how old it is, but it's got a lot of stories to tell. And look at the pieces of bark, and oh gosh, there are so many nice things to look at here. And we can nestle some fairy items into the cracks and crevices. Look at that. Sometimes you can just sit here and stare at the trunk and you can see little faces in the bark. And I hope you get to see some of those things too as you look at this video. All right. Here's one piece that I'd like to show you. I haven't used this one yet. It's a nice little fairy house. Isn't it beautiful? It has moss on it. It's really glistening. It's nice and fresh. And inside there's a little mushroom kitchen. You can see a table and chairs. This is a nice little fairy house. And this comes from Evergreen. I'm going to take the tag off here. And you'll notice this is also a solar powered fairy house. This has a solar panel here on the back, and when it picks up the sunlight, it's going to light up all the little openings in the top of this house. Isn't that cute? So we're going to find a nice little place next to the tree that's protected from the lawnmowers and the other things that come around the yard. And I think on this tree here, I was showing you how the roots come out. I think this might be a good spot right here. I'm going to take out some of the leaves and peanut shells, and we're going to find a nice little seat for it here. Make sure it's stable. And it's okay to leave some of the nature decorations around it. But we're going to come out here sometime when it's a little bit darker, and we'll see how the solar panel works to light up the inside of that house later on in the day. Okay, there's first one seated in its position. The fairy garden has begun. Down here on the bottom are some used pieces. So first of all, I have a couple bricks here. If I need them to make something stable, we'll just use that to sit something on, but we'll keep them nearby in case we need it. Now this here was a birdhouse, and to me it looks like a fairy birdhouse, but I guess the birds never wanted to make a nest in there. And then the squirrels chewed the ties off the tree, which I thought were pretty tough, but now it's going to be a fairy house. So it's used, and it's a little dirty and beat up, but it's okay because it'll fit right into our earthy atmosphere here. Here's another piece that's been around for a long time next to another tree. It's actually a fountain, and if you want to, you could run water through this. A little brush to spiff up some of these older pieces, but don't worry, the fairies will take care of them just fine. See, it has a little water wheel in it. If we get this going, we could actually put water in it, and it takes batteries. Get the dirty leaves out of there and give it a fresh start. Okay? That'll fit in just nice. It's got a little house on top of the fountain, and I'm not planning to run water through it, but at some point I could do that. Here's another little piece I would like to include. I always had this outside by one of our trees, and I was testing out a cement that I was using to see if it would keep all the tiles and things that I put on here cemented through the different types of weather. This has lasted a couple years, so I think that was a good type of cement. And it has glass, it has jewels, it has little seashells, but mainly it's a heart that shows that we love fairies and we want them to come here. It's all applied to a piece of slate off of somebody's roof. Okay, next, let's see, what else do we have? I have some seashells. This is a huge lion paw seashell, very pretty. And the reason I brought a bag of shells that were found on a beach in Florida is I wanted to invite the mermaid style of fairies to come to our garden and have a nice variety from the beach. Someone gave me these from their trips to Florida, where they would gather different seashells every time they went to Florida. So that's for that nature. Next, I have to unbox some solar lights that are fairy garden lights. So I'll show you as I take them out of the box and the stands that they will be on. This one is a little fairy ornament that shows a dandelion flying around in the wind with fairies on it. It's really cute. Here we have some fairies on a swing set. That's from Fretman's Fairy Gardens. And all these things that I do have links for, I'll put them in my description section. Here's another thing I'd like to add. It's not made yet, but I saved a big pickle jar. And this is a 1-gallon jar of pickles. You could use any size pickle jar or whatever kind of glass jar, plastic jar you like. But we're gonna put a fairy inside and make that her home. And I have a variety here to pick from, but the one I had in mind is this little Sleeping Beauty. There we go. If I can get her to rest nicely in the bottom of that fairy jar, this will be her protective home. She's really gorgeous. And she comes from my fairy and my garden friends. It's really cute. All right, let's see. We're going to use some of these little gadgets to decorate her home. And then, I don't know, we have a lot of little fairies that can be positioned in different places here. I'm not going to use all of these, but I have some samples here of the type of things that I'd like to decorate with. Nice friendly fairies, some that are protective type fairies, dragons, all kinds of good stuff. All right, I'm going to get started with that and see if we can find places for all of these right now. I think that section there where the tree curves will be a great place to put another little section of this garden. All right, I'll put the old birdhouse fairy garden in here. Let's cut off the rope. Let's cut off the rope that the squirrels didn't like. actually had wire in there, which the squirrels chewed right through. They're sharp little teeth. All right, we're gonna make a little space here. And we're gonna position this little house. Next, we're going to use the fairy swing set, and we're going to put that in the yard so the kids' fairies can be playing. This one, you're going to see that these little pieces that go with it have picks on them, and that makes them easy to stick into the ground and make them stay where you want them to stay. So we have a little swing set to set up. Pull the foot in it. Let's get down there and put that together. Okay, I have a handful of parts here for this little play yard, and I'm going to take, first of all, this is one of the swing set bases. It has a wire on the bottom, and we're just going to put it into the ground so it stays steady. These are really nice because they're not going to go anywhere. This is the top of the swing set here. This is a swing. It's a leaf. All right, we're going to take the top of the swing set and we're going to put the leaf over it, which creates the little swing. And then these have points on them where you can put them right into the top of the swing set. All right. Now we could take one of the little We could take the little fairy who's already seated and put her in the swing. All right, she's in the swing. Here's one of her friends, maybe a sister. We'll put her near the door. And then we'll decorate with the little mushrooms. And then we also have a little squirrel. Let's put that guy out here a little bit on the side. All right, that's a section for a little family right there. So you can see how you can use some of your own pieces, things that you collected. You know, an old birdhouse makes a great house for these little fairies, and then add a few pieces to really dress it up. All right, I'll take another section. All right, next I'm going to take this slate. It's a mosaic that I showed you. We're going to find a little spot for that over here. I think back here is an old tree stump, and I'm going to just wedge that into the ground and prop it up so it leaves a welcoming heart for the fairies to come to this neighborhood. All right, let's move on over to this nice big log that I told you about. It's laying here waiting for a purpose. Actually, chipmunks live inside of here, and they come running out looking for some food. Now, I took this little water fountain. Well, this thing actually has a flat back and a flat bottom, so we need some place that makes it able to stand straight up. And I thought maybe in here, in this section, we could make it stand against the tree, and that would be pretty solid. And then we could put some decorations around it as we get out those solar lights. And I wanted to mention that behind this is a lot of sticks and cement blocks in the neighbor's yard, and that's okay. We're actually going to plant some butterfly bushes in here, which will grow to a rather large size in this area, and it'll make a nice backdrop as the summer goes by. Okay, we're going back to our little solar home here. I'm going to add a couple fairies on a seesaw over here on the side. And I have some really nice sparkly tiles. Now, although fairies live in a rough part of the woods, They do love sparkly things. So I'm going to take a couple of these sparkly tiles that they're made for maybe decorating the wall of your bathroom or backsplash of your sink, those kind of things. Sometimes I use them in mosaics because these are glass tiles and they're spaced out nice. And I'm going to put some in here as a walkway. So I'm going to cut off 2 rows off of the backing, which is just a net backing made so that you can cement them into place. And with these 2 rows, we're just going to make a nice little pathway up to the door. Nice and sparkly, pretty, and attractive to the fairies. We're going to decorate the outside edges with this filler, which is actually very sparkly glass. And you can see it just catches the light. We're going to put it back here in the corner just to lead your eye into the fairy's house. Like that. Isn't that pretty? Alright, let's add a little more work to this little fountain over here. We can dress this up a little bit too, because I'm sure somebody's going to want to come and play on this area. Another thing that the fairies love is crystals. Now this is a bag of black obsidian river stones, and I'm going to spread them around the outside edge. I'm going to slip them into the bag, and this offers them protection. It also dresses up this area to play, and I think it fits good with the fountain, being that these came from a river. And they're polished river stones. Really great. Okay, so we have some very lovely obsidian from the river stone, and we have a very nice red jasper, which we're going to put in here too. These are nice crystals that the fairies appreciate for protection and energy and good vibes, everything that you want your neighborhood to have. Next we're going to add a couple little fairies that like to play in the waterfall and climb rocks and explore what's upstairs. They're pretty tricky sometimes, pretty sneaky sometimes. We love the fairies, but beware, some of them are tricky and sneaky, and they're all cute though. Now you know this is a giant pickle jar. But we only need to make the bottom a comfortable bed for a fairy. So I have some of this really nice reindeer moss. It's soft and spongy and has beautiful colors. Now we're going to open the jar, which makes a nice little home there. We're going to fill it with some pretty colors of moss. Now this is reindeer moss. It spreads out. It's very spongy, and you can get a lot of mileage out of a handful of reindeer moss. So we'll put down some nice orange first. Why do they name it this? I think it's the fibers look like antlers. That's what I think. You know, Rudolph and such. Okay. There's a nice bed of orange moss. Now, this is from nature. It's dyed. Our fairy is pink, so we want a color that shows up good with a pink fairy. So we're going to put some like lime green color in there. Yeah, spread that out nice. Look how nice that is. what could be more comfortable for a woodland fairy? Okay. Now, she has a tag on. I bought her at Hobby Lobby. Look at the tag. And she's very fragile how those are attached. So we're going to carefully put her into the jar, into a nice moss bed. Make her comfortable. How nice and pretty. And then we just need a few things to decorate her. Now I have some pink flowers, daisies. Put a daisy in there. And I have some rosebuds that were made from wood shavings and colored. And we're just gonna add a couple of those. So it'll smell good. Now if you're find that your jars or things have been tossed around by the squirrels or something, just reposition them and make them feel welcome. I think that's pretty just like that. Now we want to put the lid on to protect it from the rain. But you may find that it gets steamed up a little bit. So I just stabbed a hole in there to allow some ventilation. If you're in a big downpour, you can always lay a leaf or something over top. And that way it keeps it nice and dry in there and it allows the mist and fog to evaporate. So you decide how you want to position it, with the pickles in the front or the fairy in the front. Find a spot for her. In this garden, I'm thinking to put her behind this log so she's a little bit more protected. And I think back there is nice. And as the butterfly bush begins to grow, she'll be under the butterfly bush. Or you can move her around from place to place. We're going to put some kind of solar light back here for her because it's a little bit out of the way. I think that's beautiful. Classic pickle jar. Who's your build? With the fairy inside. Cool. Isn't it nice to see a bird enjoying a nice fresh bird bath? Oh, that's so sweet. Let's also add this fancy rock that says dream next to this one. It needs a little brightening up, I think. And this is a hand-painted stone. Thanks, Dawn. Alright, now I have a little clay dish here. And I thought this would be a good item to make a bowl of water. And that could be what invites our next set of fairies, which are the mermaids. So to get the water-like effect, I brought some stones. These are glass melted rocks, and we're going to find a spot and we're going to fill that little bowl with blue glass beads, all different shades. And what does that look like to you? It looks like a bowl of water. Now, as of today, I don't have any mermaid fairies. Maybe some will come by the time you come back and see one of my next videos. So let's make it nice and welcoming here. we're going to use this beautiful lion's paw seashell as an invitation. And we're going to leave these nice little seashells throughout. These are so cute. And let's find out if next time there's actually going to be a little mermaid here too. These are really pretty. Alright, here's the other dish. Be protected a little bit by the big log. Coral, fancy shells. And then I think I'll add a little bit more of this sparkle here. There we go. Alright, there's a little section for the ocean. You'll think they're beautiful. These were a gift from my sister Dawn for this garden. Thank you, Dawn. Now you can see they have fairies on them. They're solar lights. They have the moon and they have fairies. How beautiful. There's a set of 2. And they have solar lights to brighten them up at nighttime. You can turn them on and you can see the reflective metal already lights them up. Now here's a set of shepherd hooks to hang them. This part of the cord has a bulb, which will go inside the lantern. There's a place to screw it in. And this part, you can hang on the posts. Okay, now I repositioned the seashell a little bit there so it's a little more stable and noticeable. And I think that looks fine like that with the little bowls of water and seashells. And then behind that, I put the fairy in the pickle jar on a set of bricks so it's a little more stable. And then I put together that lantern. The solar lantern, and it's charging right now, but it's beautiful. I can't wait to see it at night. And then I took the other solar lantern and put it over here by the heart-shaped mosaic, and that's charging too, and that'll help to lighten this little house here with a table in and the fairies playing outside. So now I'm going to unbox one more thing today. And this is a little fairy playing with a dandelion, which I showed you that before, but all we're going to do is stick it in the ground and let it spin with the wind. It's like a little weather vane. So we'll just put that one over here close to the log. Alright, I think that's it for the first phase of our fairy garden. Let's take one final look here. Alright, we have the seashell and water portion inviting a mermaid to come. We have the lantern, solar lantern, which is shining down on our pickle jar fairy, taking a nap in there in the reindeer moss. How nice. Further down the log, we have the water fountain with the little girls playing outside, exploring and sitting amongst the obsidian and the red jasper and the good vibe messages. Then we move on to the dancing fairies with the dandelion. As the wind blows, that'll move and twist around. In the back we have the mosaic heart on a piece of slate, welcoming all the fairies to come and enjoy and dance and have fun. Another solar lantern shining down on the welcoming heart, and on the solar little house with the walkway and the fairies enjoying the seesaw. Around the corner is another family playing on the swings with the squirrel and their little house too. Alright, that's it so far. Hope you liked the video. Try making one of your own in a part of your yard where you like to sit and relax and enjoy nature. And I think it'll be a lot of fun for you too. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video.